World War I is typically defined by muddy, barren trenches. Yet in July 1916, a lush 150-acre woodland on the British right flank became the setting for one of the Somme's most concentrated disasters, Bois Delville. On July 15th, the 1st South African Infantry Brigade received orders to secure this dense woodland. Their mission was clear the German defenders at all costs. This diagram represents the scale of the ensuing slaughter. Over 3,100 officers and men entered the wood. 5 days later, exactly 755 marched out unhurt. The survival of the brigade depended on a landscape that behaved unlike any other sector of the Somme. To understand how a single unit was nearly erased in 5 days, we have to look at the ground beneath their feet. While the South Africans successfully drove the Germans back on day 1, the thick summer foliage created immediate tactical chaos. Visual communication was severed, leaving individual units isolated in the dense growth. Infantry doctrine dictated an immediate solution: dig deep defensive trenches the moment the ground was captured. But the soil was guarded by an impenetrable underground web of thick, intertwined tree roots. Digging deep trenches was nearly impossible. These root systems forced the troops to abandon standard cover. Instead, they sought shelter in shallow scrapes and existing shell craters, leaving them fatally exposed to the surface. On July 16th, the German army concentrated a massive array of heavy artillery directly on the 150-acre plot, capitalizing on the brigade's lack of deep cover. The forest's biology broke the established rules of trench warfare. By preventing the soldiers from digging in, the landscape pinned the South Africans above ground and exposed them to continuous industrial fire. The battle reached its peak on July 18th. A ferocious 9-hour bombardment hammered the woods, with shells falling at a rate of 400 per minute. This cross-section demonstrates the specific lethality of the forest. Shells detonated against the thick upper branches rather than hitting the floor. These explosions rained heavy timber and jagged wooden shrapnel directly down into the shallow craters where men hid. The continuous artillery fire turned the lush forest into a wasteland of shattered stumps and debris. Running out of ammunition and water, the isolated South Africans fought hand-to-hand to repel a coordinated 3-sided German infantry charge. The soldiers renamed the site Devil's Wood because the environment had inverted the concept of shelter. The trees, which should have offered concealment, became the source of the shrapnel that tore the brigade apart. On July 20th, Brigadier General Lucan's remaining men were finally relieved. They had held the line against impossible odds, but the brigade was effectively shattered. The sacrifice was so profound that in 1920, the South African government purchased this plot of French soil, establishing it as a permanent national memorial. The Delville Wood Cemetery now houses over 5,500 Commonwealth graves. Half of the soldiers buried here remain unidentified, a result of the extreme intensity of the shell fire. Amidst the replanted forest stands a single original hornbeam, the only tree to survive the 1916 bombardment. Its trunk remains permanently scarred by shrapnel. This lone tree stands as a physical testament to the South African Brigade. Battered and marked forever by the environment they fought in, they refused to fall.